Hi, you're on the Alice Reddit Stories channel. Subscribe to my channel as well as my Facebook page. There we can chat. The link is in the description of the video. Thank you. Enjoy watching. Story 1. My wife tried to hide my daughter from me. I'm mad as hell. My wife and I are married together and have 3 kids, 11, 8, 3. When I was in my 20s, I donated sperm as there is a massive shortage in my country. I literally donated after reading about this shortage in the newspaper. I've always been upfront about this fact with me wife. Always. And she has always said she's okay with it. Fast forward to yesterday, I answer the phone to a girl that immediately starts nervously apologizing for calling me, but that she had to speak with me personally. Obviously, I have no idea what the fuck is going on, so I ask her to explain what she's talking about. Turns out this girl is my daughter. I understand it's wrong to call her my daughter when I didn't raise her, but for lack of a better word, and just turned 18. After turning 18, she got access to my contact details as required under my country's law regarding sperm donors. She called my house last week to talk to me and my wife picked up. Apparently my wife told her that I wanted nothing to do with her and that she should never call this number again before hanging up. Honestly broke my heart to hear that the woman I loved could be so fucking heartless. So for the last week this poor girl has been crying her eyes out trying to work up the courage to call again, and thankfully she did so when I was home. I tried to keep my calm while on the phone and reassure her that I did not say any of that. We organized a place/time to meet, and as soon as my wife got home later that night I blew up at her. Honestly, I've never yelled at anyone as long as I can remember, but I couldn't hold it in. Am I wrong to think that's so severely fucked up of my wife to do? I honestly can't comprehend how she could say that. I'm not thinking straight and need some advice on how to deal with this. Update: hesitant to post an update after how infuriating some of the replies in the previous thread were, but figure I owe it to those of you that offered genuine well-meaning advice. Plus I've had some time to calm down. I probably won't reply to comments because otherwise I'm just going to get worked up again by people saying my wife didn't betray my trust etc. If you're a woman and are going to say it's understandable what my wife did, then consider how you'd feel if you put a kid up for adoption when you were young, that kid tried to reach out when they turned 18. And your husband told them you wanted nothing to with them without ever telling you they tried to reach out. It's not understandable. Wife texted me yesterday and said we needed to talk while I was at work. This was the first time either of us had spoken or messaged each other since the fight. I dropped our kids off at my parents' house so we could be alone and went straight home. I'm not sure exactly what I was expecting her to say, but I genuinely hoped she would at least apologize first and foremost. Because in my opinion she severely betrayed my trust by not only denying my agency, but also lying to me about it, and then downplaying the entire ordeal. When I get home and we sit down to talk, the first thing she says is that she forbids me from seeing this young woman. Not an apology. An ultimatum that if I went and saw her, she would kick me out of the house, which is laughable considering I owned the house before marrying her. I asked her if she was serious. If she isn't even going to apologize etc., and she reaffirmed she has nothing to apologize for. Yeah, okay. At this point I remembered someone's comment in that post about how she might have done this before. I asked her if she has ever done anything like this previously and she said no. I kept pushing her and she kept saying no. Finally I told her that I had already called the fertility clinic to reach out to any parents and explain what my wife had done in case they had tried to contact me previously. Not sure what has come of that yet. I explain that if I find out she has and she doesn't come clean now, I'm divorcing her immediately. She immediately changes tune and says she has only done it one other time. Only. Fuck, that only infuriated me even though it's just a goddamn word. Anyway, turns out another girl called a couple years back after she turned 18 too. Her parents are lesbians and so she just wanted to meet her biological father since she doesn't have a father of her own, according to my wife, so take it with a grain of salt at this point. I tend to believe what she's saying, as the original girl also has lesbian parents and wanted to meet me for the same reason. She wouldn't say exactly what she said to this young woman, but she did say she made sure she'd stay away from our family. I mean, at least my wife was finally honest with me, but Jesus Christ, what a fucking heartless thing to do. I feel like I don't even know my wife. The woman I thought I married had some fucking empathy. She still hasn't apologized and goes back to forbidding me from seeing this young woman. I explained she no longer has a say in the matter. Had she explained her concerns to me like an adult, I would have listened to them and taken them seriously. But by trying to deny me having any choice in the matter, and for being needlessly cruel to these girls, she doesn't get a say in this anymore. I told her she has 7 days to give me a genuine apology and agree to marriage counseling, or I would call a divorce lawyer. I also reaffirmed she doesn't get a say in whether I meet with this girl, but I would consider her feelings if any future kids reach out, and she doesn't fucking lie about it. A few hours later, she apologized. I say apologized in quotes because it was clearly not genuine. But whatever, it's at least an admission of guilt. So we're going to marriage counseling and try to work through this. TBH though, I don't think I'll ever see her the same way again. So I have doubts our marriage will last. Don't forget to support my channel by subscribing, thank you. Story 2. I, 30F, moved 500 miles to be with my boyfriend, 27M, only to end up feeling like his mom. I'm a 30F and boyfriend is a 27M. We spent the first half of our relationship long distance, living in different states on other sides of the country. I agreed if I found a job in my field, I'd move to his state. So now we have been living together for about 2 months. For me, new city, new state, new job, new everything. My job is incredibly demanding. I'm the supervisor of an entire department and manage 9 employees with little to no support from upper management. I'm mentally and emotionally exhausted by the end of the day. My boyfriend works from home, and I do know he works hard. However, he'll admit he has a lot of downtime during the day. He also makes more money. My issue is that I feel like his mom now that we live together. I do all the cleaning, all the grocery shopping, all the cooking. When something is broken, I'm the one who calls apartment maintenance. Basically, I manage our household. Coming home after a long day to a sink full of dishes, or socks on the floor, the toilet seat up just drives me crazy. I have asked for more initiative and his response is that he just doesn't think about those things and I need to ask. At first, this seemed fair. But now, it's like one more thing on my list each day. I shouldn't have to ask him to help keep our home clean. If the toilet is dirty, then scrub it, or if the dishwasher is full, empty it. I almost feel like I was disillusioned by the long distance and now reality is hitting. I know some of my bitterness is unfair. But it's hard when I get up at 5 and go to a job that's emotionally and mentally draining while he's rolling out of bed 5 minutes before a meeting because he played video games until 2 a.m. Part of me just wants to go back home, but it's been 3 months. I'm just exhausted and missing my friends, family, my old life, not sure what to do anymore. TLDR, I moved out of state to be with long-distance boyfriend and am at my breaking point with stressful job taking care of employees and then having to take care of all chores and everything at home too. Story 3. My girlfriend had sex with me while I was asleep and I don't know how to feel about it. So me, 24M, and my girlfriend, 26F, are a pretty new relationship. We've been dating inconsistently here and there for about 5 months. But we only recently decided to actually become an official couple 2 weeks ago. Personally, I'm over the moon for her. This is somebody I've wanted to be with pretty much since our first date in August. I'm also pretty religious, and I'm trying to take abstinence and chastity pretty seriously, and this is something that she and I have discussed, and I thought she was okay with it. I'm not a virgin either, but I've tried really hard to be good. It's not that I don't want to have sex with her, she's really attractive, but I value my beliefs. I thought she respected that. But a few nights ago, we went and caught a late movie, and hung out and made out at her place afterwards, and she talked me into staying the night at her place instead of driving the 40+ minutes it takes to get back to my apartment from hers on minimal sleep at 2 in the morning. So, I do, and naturally I sleep in her bed, cuddling with her. I'm a pretty heavy sleeper, personally, but I remembered having this really amazing wet dream, and when I woke up from the dream, I found my girlfriend naked laying next to me, and she told me that at some point in the night, she couldn't take it anymore, and started to touch me until I got an erection, and then decided to have sex with me, while I was asleep. I kind of didn't know what to say, and to be honest I still don't know how to feel about it. I do still feel really strongly about her, and I could see myself being actually in love with her pretty soon. If this hadn't happened, I think I would be falling pretty fast. Part of me really wants to just forgive her, and just move on. Everybody makes mistakes, and I hope that when I make mistakes that she's willing to forgive me and work with me on them. This is obviously a really big mistake for her to make, but at what point do I not stand by her and be there for her? That's kind of my job as her boyfriend, is to stick with her even when things aren't easy. And obviously, there's a part of me that is really flattered that this beautiful woman who I'm really attracted to is also really attracted to me, but another part of me is really uncomfortable with the idea she would just do that to me, knowing how I feel and what I believe, and just decided to disregard all of that. So I really don't know what to do, and I'm too embarrassed and can't tell my friends about it, or my family, and I don't even know what to say to her, and I really just needed to get that all off my chest. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, there are a lot of interesting stories ahead of you.